how do we know? Let's say we have David here. Let's find out what he ordered. We have a table of orders, so that's like you're in a store. You're going to keep track of all the orders. Let's understand, okay, what did he buy? So how would you do it? Well, the easiest way is look like you get his customer ID is free. So you're going to say, okay, select all the columns from what's the table now? That's orders, where the customer ID, notice we have the column customer ID in order, and that's free. Make sure, usually we always make sure that the customer ID here points to the ID of the customer column. So you can see David Robinson, customer ID 3, he only bought a monitor, no more orders. Now, this thing here is called a foreign key. When you have a ID in another table, that is mapped to this table here. In this case, we have orders, and we have a customer ID. For the customer ID here is a foreign key that points to the primary key of the customer's table. This is a very common pattern you're gonna see all over the place. We don't usually like mix table data together. Obviously, you could have the orders table, have the first name, last name, age, and so on, but that's not good practice at all. We need to separate the data. So we have a table dedicated for customers and one for orders. And if you need information about the customer, like their first name, last name, whatever, you just got to look at the foreign key here in the orders table, and then go to the customers table and find the primary key that matches that. In this case is with 4, right? So John. It's always like that. Now I'm going to talk about how to include that information. Obviously, this is not useful if I'm going here, okay, customer number 3, who is 3? I don't know. So I don't want to manually look up in the table customers. I want this to already show me the first name, last name, and so on. That's a very common thing we do, and that's called a join, SQL join. We're joining tables together. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to say inner join. That's a kind of join, right? Okay, there are different kinds of joins, but this one is inner join. They're going to match the customer ID in orders with the customer ID in customers. So we can exactly know every single order for that customer and their information. Okay, we got to say, okay, you want to join with what? What table? Customers table? And then on, that's a keyword. You got to say how you want to match. Okay, I want to match the customer ID of one table, that's orders, with the customer ID of the other. But notice here, both tables have the same column name. How do I know which one is which? So this is ambiguous. So how to find a way of, disambiguate here. So I can prefix these with the table name. So, okay, let's say customers dot customer ID. Oh, okay, so you're saying the customer ID column from the customers thus match the orders dot customer ID. So that way we know, okay, it's this customer ID here from customers has to match the customer ID from orders. Okay, now I'm going to move the where to the ending, okay? Because of syntax. So make sure to move your where to the end after you did the inner join thing. Now if I do that, oh, what happened? Same problem I had, the ambiguous, right? Where customer ID is 3. In this case, it doesn't really matter which one I pick. So you can say here either customers or orders. And there you go. Now what happens is it takes this record from orders, and then it kind of puts side by side with what it matches for the customers table. As you can see, the left-hand side is from orders, and the right-hand side is from customers. Now I want to show you a customer 4 because customer 4 bought two things, right? If you notice from the order table, he bought a keyboard and a mouse. So if I use 4, we're going to get 2 rows, right? Because we have the one for the keyboard and one for the mouse. But observe that each of them on the right-hand side, they get their own copy of the customer row. The single customer row for John appeared twice because we have 2 rows from order. So that's what usually happens. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, let's see. Somebody sent the link to Discord. Thank you. Can we export and import data so that we need to tell? Can we do distinctive situation? I know what you mean. Yes, you can group by things depending on what your goal is, right? You can consolidate these into one row. And I'm going to show you a way just now. But there's no need to, how can I say? Whether you consolidate things is independent of you having a join table or not, right? So we can consolidate into a single row. But the point here is you don't want to consolidate because you're trying to figure out the orders, right? If you consolidate into one, you're going to lose keyboard and mouse. What are you going to do? You don't know the orders. So the point here is not to consolidate. But if you need to consolidate in another situation, yes, you can. And I'll show you how to count things in a moment. So if I remove the where, this is going to happen for every customer. So we got all the orders and the customer information side on the side, okay? Now we can see all the orders and the customer, what they bought, joining the 2 tables. And this is not narrowing down to anything.